Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Muhammad Hasnain, your English language instructor today once again with all of you people. Lots of times people forget a very major thing, which is learning. Our people's belief is that learning is basically education, which is very much different than learning. Education is limited, while learning is not. So what they believe is, after they've got their degrees worth of a few years or even a few decades, sometimes they believe that they've learned everything and nothing is required to be learned or nothing is remaining to be learned by them. But the point is, learning is a continuous process. It's not a certain thing, not a certain digit, not a certain something that you can buy or you can get. It's rather the feeling. We learn everything every day and we learn a lot of things. There's a famous saying in our Islam that is that until your last breath, you're learning. So learning is required or learning is obligatory by all Muslims, either female or male. It's very much important. We learn things until our last breath. If that is our learning in education sector, if that is our learning subjectively, if that is our learning theoretically, or learning in any other form possible. It's a mandatory thing that always happens. You may not seem to understand it. It may not be visible. हम लोग लर्निंग को कभी-कभी हम लोग चीज़ें सीख रहे होते हैं बट हमें पता ही नहीं चलता. Every time you look into the nature, you learn something. Every time you look at somebody and their behavior, you learn something. And there's always room for improvement and room for learning. Our people do not know what learning is. And they treat it as if a superficial form of education, which is very wrong. And learning shall be continuous. I've seen lots of times बच्चे parents को कुछ समझा रहे होते हैं. So what do the parents say? You're not my dad, you're not my father. Don't teach me, I know everything. Well, the point is, you should never be afraid to learn. हमारे लोग अक्सर अपनी डिग्रीज को हासिल करने के बाद एक inferiority या superiority complex में चले जाते हैं. Thinking either they've learned everything or either they have not. So what they do is, अगर कोई उनको कुछ सिखा रहा होता है, उनका initiative यही होता है कि मुझे ना सिखाओ, मुझे पता है. So we should not be afraid to learn. सीखने से हमें घबराना नहीं चाहिए. हमें सीखना चाहिए. Because it's a very much real and a very much natural thing. My parents learned from me, I learned from them. The decades and the timelines are evolving, and what knowledge I have as assets in the form of internet, etc., that's very much rare to me, and the experience my parents have, they only have that. So now I share the internet, they share me with experience. It's a win-win. So the point is, there's always room for learning, there's always place for improvement, and we lots of times believe that there isn't. And I wanted to come clear about it. This superficial belief that parents know everything or that children should not be teaching anybody anything, all of these different superstitions or stigmas that are created shall be finished by the time of this era, since it's not an old era anymore. This is the new modernized era. And in this era, we should be more considerate, open-minded, and we should be more caring about each other. So what I believe is, we should learn from everywhere and anybody we know. There's no such thing as class, as rich and poor, as kid and adult, as anything. There's no class in learning. Learning is subjective to everybody. Learning is different for you, for me, for him, for her, for everybody. And together, if we learn and if we listen to each other and try to behave and try to be better than what we were yesterday, I believe the society can flourish and be a better place for every single human being.